Welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked, where we break down what it takes to build a thriving travel business. Here's your host, co-founder of Gifted Travel Network and best-selling author, Meredith Calloway.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked podcast. I've been on vacation, so I can't even or
Vacation brain. I love it.
I know. Vacation brain, exactly. I am your host, Meredith Calloway, and on today's episode, my guest is Sarah Key with The Keys to Travel. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah. Actually, she's been on the podcast before, so this is welcome back to the podcast, Sarah.
Yes, thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So the last time we had Sarah on, we focused on what the career or the profession of becoming a travel advisor looks like for a new mom. And Sarah, you were pregnant with your baby, maybe not even pregnant. So Sarah,
Yeah.
you tell your boys.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I had my first child at that point,
Yeah.
and now I have two boys.
Two.
Yeah, so a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old, which is keeping us on our toes, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, well, why don't you start with how you got into the travel business? Because you started your travel business before you even had your first child, but you were married. So you were double income kids, and you probably weren't really even thinking about what this would look like once you became a mom, or maybe you did. But talk to us about your decision to start a travel business.
Yeah. I always love this is like my favorite part of meeting other travel advisors is because we all come from such different backgrounds, and most of
Yeah.
us never imagine us becoming travel advisors, which was the same for me. So I, went to college, had no idea what I wanted to do. And coming from a Midwest family, you go to college, get your 9 to 5 and retire. So that's the
Yeah.
route I went, just got, a management degree. I love people. And ironically, didn't really wanna do, like, the entrepreneurial route because it just was big and scary, but went the management route, and I was in the home building industry, and it just didn't light me up. I didn't have any passion for it, and I always loved to travel, kind of the separate person in my family. No one likes to travel. No one in my family likes to travel but me, and so I'd always try and find opportunities to travel. And then my now husband and I moved from Wisconsin to Colorado to like get away and just try something new. And Denver definitely had a more entrepreneurial spirited community. And so I kind of got into that and was really trying to figure out there has to be something that I can do with travel that isn't like just being an influencer or blogger because I was like, I need something steady and something that's gonna last longer. And ironically, we used a travel agent for our honeymoon to the Maldives in 2016, and the experience was not great. And like looking back, it wasn't great because I did everything. Like I planned it all, and I was like, why am I working with someone when I'm doing everything? And so I kind of just pushed it to the side. I was like, I'm never going to use a travel agent again. And then kept exploring the entrepreneurial route. And couple years later, connected with another travel agent, and they're like, "Oh, like, this is what it's about. If you wanna explore it, try it." And I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna stick to my 9 to 5." And then a year later in 2018, I was just so fed up with my job. I was just like, "There has to be something more." And so, of course, I talked to my husband. I was like, "Let's just go to Italy. Let's just go and not think about anything." So we went to Italy for 2 weeks, came back, and that same travel advisor reached out to me and she's like, "Are you sure you're not meant to be a travel advisor?" And I was like, "You know what? Maybe." So I started doing it part-time in 2018 and absolutely loved it.
And
And then
I see.
yes, I was her IC under her brand, and did a lot of kind of sun and sand, all-inclusive type trips. And then in 2019, I was fired from my job. And so I was talking to my husband and I was like, okay, do I go get another, 9 to 5 or do I try this travel agent thing? And he's like, you know what? Go for it. We don't have kids. This will be the time to do it.
Yeah.
So I went all in and it was amazing. And then 2020 hit and, a great year. And, in hindsight, it was a great year because I was able to step back and really focus on how I wanted to run my business, who I wanted to work with, how I wanted to build. And so in 2021, I knew I wanted to make a change of host agencies, and because I wanted to focus more on luxury and growing my own brand. And so I found out about Gifted Travel Network and joined you guys in 2021, and it's been the best decision ever. Like, you guys have helped escalate my business and really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. And ironically, when I was in corporate America, I remember talking to my husband, like, we wanted kids, but I didn't want kids when I was working a 9 to 5. I didn't want to work to pay to put them in daycare. So, like, it was kind of always
Right.
like in the back of my mind that I wanted to, I guess, be an entrepreneur to be when I had kids. And so it really just worked out that way for us.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's great. I want to unpack that decision to switch hosts because we're actually putting together a free report right now where we're just talking about what it looks like to switch host, and not because we're trying to pluck happily hosted people from other hosts, but
mhm,
because it is absolutely part of this journey,
mhm,
is that you can, when you first become a travel advisor, if you decide not to invest in our travel MBA program, there's so many other options, right? There are
mhm,
thousands and thousands of options, and it might be the perfect option for you at the time. Then your business grows and you start to realize that you've outgrown that choice. So we put together this whole report on, what that looks like, and
mhm,
just to have a conversation about what to consider. And maybe you figure out you do have the perfect host, and that's fine too. But what I found, and I've only picked up on this recently, talking to advisors who are not with GTN, that there's like a resistance to switch hosting because they feel like they probably need a new host, but there's almost a sense of loyalty, or it's just painful, right? Just learning new systems and moving. So, did you have any of those, or were you like, I'm ready to do it? I just know.
I definitely had a little bit of both of those, but just how certain things were handled during COVID, I that kind of
Okay.
escalated me to elsewhere just because I didn't really agree with how some things were handled. But
Yeah.
also for me, I was under their branding, and I knew that
Yeah.
I wanted to build my own brand and my own business the way I wanted to. And also, when I was looking at GTN, just the community aspect. I mean, it's really funny because I feel like a lot of people have come to me and, like, they're like, "Oh, what's it like? How do you become a travel agent?" Or what are and people don't know about all the options. So I really talk to them, and even people come to me and they're like, "Oh, we've talked to GTN," and they really, like, hype up their community, like, "Is that real?"
I
And
know.
I'm like, "It is." Like, it really is, and you don't get that many other
Yeah.
places, and so, for me, it was really important to find a fit that really checked my boxes, was one that would help me grow my business the way I wanted, that had the community that was supportive and willing
Yeah.
to help each other, and had the, relationships with people in the industry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what GTN is.
Yeah. I mean, those are 3 unbelievably important aspects of a host
Mm,
choice. So,
yeah. It was I mean, it is difficult changing because you change over every your IATA number, you change over
yeah.
every system, and you have, like, for a year,
Yes.
clients over here,
Yep.
but, you know, you short-term pain for long-term gain is so worth it. Like, you gotta really weigh the
I like
the
that.
benefits to it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good way to look at it. And sometimes people struggle with looking at it from the long-term perspective, not
Mhm,
just, yeah, yes, it's uncomfortable, but ultimately it's you're going to thrive. And one thing we see is when someone does switch hosts to us and they were with a host that wasn't really, didn't have the community or didn't have the relationships, they come and they grow even more than they expected they're going to grow.
mhm.
So,
One thing too with GTN is it's not just about, like, business growth, which it definitely is, but it's like, I remember when I was pregnant with my first, and I was just like, how do you do this? How do you have a maternity leave? How do you take care of a baby and run a business? Like, I was so frazzled and freaking out, and all the moms in the community were like, "Oh, this is how we did it," or "Here's my out of office message that I used," and it's
Yeah.
just and now I've been able to kinda pass that on to other people too, and it's nice to be able to,
Yeah.
pass it on and pay it forward, and it's not just about business questions, it's about personal
Yeah.
questions too.
So what did you do? And did you do the same with baby number 2 as baby number 1? What did you do for a maternity leave?
Baby number 2 was so much easier because, like, the first one, I was freaking out because I had no idea. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
clients that I'm not gonna be working for 3 months or 6
Right.
months or whatever,
Yeah.
and it really wasn't a big deal, and every all my clients were like, "Don't message us, like, we'll reach out to you in 6 months," or whatever, like,
Aw.
it was such a it was great, and maybe it's just the clients I have, but even new clients were so understanding because I mean, they have kids or they have kids or they think about having kids, so it's not as big of a deal as people think. I mean, I was always on my phone checking my email, but I never especially the second one, I never felt the pressure to respond right away or take on something that I knew I wouldn't be able to handle. Like, there was a couple trips the second pregnancy that like, I was like, "I could take it, but eh." But then there were people I knew in GTN that I was able to refer them to, and I knew they were gonna to be taken care of, and, like, some of the GTN agents just spoiled my clients, and I was like, "It makes me so happy," and so, again, another great thing about having a community, I'm a solopreneur, so I'm all on my own, but it doesn't feel like it because other advisors were willing to help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I technically took, like, a 3 months out of office maternity leave. I handled things when I needed to, but and
Yeah.
then, when I returned, it was really, like, whenever I wanted to, and now it's not like I have set hours.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
don't have set daycare, so my husband is also an entrepreneur, so he takes the kids in the morning, I take them in the afternoon, we flip-flop, we have grandparents that help, we work on weekends, we work at night, so it's just
Yeah.
we make it work for us.
You make it work. Yeah.
Mhm.
And comparing that to your 9 to 5, how do you feel looking back? Like, are you so glad you made this choice and
Mhm.
took the leap of faith and followed this career path? Or do you feel like there things you miss from the corporate world?
Yes, definitely. I mean, a maternity leave where you don't have to work at all or worry about work
Yeah.
and get paid, like, that would be nice. But, like, the idea of having to go back in 8 weeks or,
Yeah.
3 months, like, no, that I couldn't imagine that. Like, at least I had the choice to
Yeah.
hang out with my baby in the afternoon or not. I would not change this route for anything. Like, it's been amazing. We It's definitely tough. We have long nights and no release during the day, but, I mean, it's just such a joy that I get to help clients travel with their kids that
Yeah.
the way I'm dreaming of traveling with our kids and
Yeah.
just the flexibility, like, that's what this life is about. Like, we get to do what we wanna do when we wanna
Is
do.
that what you're focused on right now? Is that the kind of clients that you're attracting right now? Is families with young kids?
Yeah, a lot of families right now for sure. Kinda started out, like, way before, it would be a lot of honeymooners and couples, and I
Mhm.
still do that. A lot of actually big like, 40th and 50th birthdays are right now, but other than that, it's a lot of families, and I'm kind of working on a new project right now, which I'm really excited for, which is another great thing, something I'm passionate about, like, I get to do that for a living. Like, now with my 2 boys, I'm a very type A planner. I'm like, "Okay, so when they're 10 years old, we should go to this country, and when they're 11, we should go to this country," and so I have, like, the next 20 years planned out of our trips,
Wow.
and
Love
in my
that.
head, I'm like, Doesn't everyone do this?" And my husband's like, "No, Sarah, no one does that." And so I'm working with a few of my, like, repeat clients right now to kinda put together their, like, long-term travel plan
Yeah.
because I feel like everyone has these bucket list trips or big trips or, our kids are going to be leaving the house soon and we have these trips we want to do, but we keep putting them off. And
Yeah.
if they're planned out, like, okay, 2027, you guys are going here, 2030, you're
Yeah.
going here, then they can budget and plan for it and it'll actually happen as opposed to like
Yeah.
one day we'd like to go to Africa and then all of a sudden it's 20 years down the road and you never went to Africa. So I'm working on
Experience that I am so glad. I didn't plan it out, but I am so glad I traveled as extensively with my kids as I did when they were young,
yeah.
and took them out of the country. The Sun and Fun trips are awesome, and you
Mhm,
have to do those, but
mhm.
don't limit yourself to Sun and Fun, and
Yeah.
don't wait to go to Europe until they're, old enough to remember.
Yeah.
Put them on a plane when you can even share the seat with them. Well, I don't know if you
Mhm.
wanna do that going all the way, but
But
get
it
them on
gives
a plane
them
as soon as you
yeah.
can
Because the
because
earlier they are, the more they get used to it and the easier
Yep,
it is down the road.
yep. The
Mhm,
easier it is and the more open they are. It's really
mhm,
amazing to see now, my youngest is 18 and my
mhm,
oldest is 25,
mhm.
and my middle went abroad his, first semester of his senior year, and he went to Barcelona, and he traveled every weekend,
Yeah.
and he was in a new city in Europe every single weekend, and
Mhm.
I don't think he would've put that much effort into getting out and exploring the world had he not had the travel bug.
Right. Early on.
And it's, both myself and his dad. I mean, his dad is from Zimbabwe, so he's been to Africa multiple times, or they all
Mhm.
have. But it's not just Africa that yeah, it's going on cruises and like European cruises where you're in a city every single day. And
Mhm. It's
I
just
just love
special to
that.
yeah, it's just special to see. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, why would you go, to Disney World when they're 2 years old, or why would you go to anywhere when they're that
Yeah.
young?" And it's like, "But what about my memories too?"
Yeah.
And, like, we went to,
I
Grand
love that
Cayman l
idea.
yeah, we went to Grand Cayman last summer for my baby moon, and we brought our toddler, and we went to the turtle sanctuary, and we swam with the
Yep.
stingrays, and
Yeah.
he couldn't talk, but he would call the stingrays babies, and
Aw.
then the Ritz-Carlton gave him a little stingray stuffed animal, and so now he's just like, "Baby, baby," and, like, still remembers that, and we see stingrays in books or things, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Baby, baby," and, like, just seeing it through their
Yeah.
eyes is just so
Seeing it
magical.
through their eyes, it's so, so magical. It also you will discover this, so keep traveling with them as they get older, they start to get picky when it comes
Mm.
to eating.
Oh,
Some, not
yeah.
all, some do. And if you have them, like, eating in restaurants and in different countries and eating the local food and just trying it from day one,
Mhm.
more open to eating food from or trying new things in
Yeah.
general back at home. I remember a couple years ago, we went to France to ski, and I'm now in a blended family, so my husband brought his 2 kids and I brought my 3 kids, and we stayed at a Club Med, which means
Mhm.
it's all inclusive, so you can go back to the resort for lunch every day, but I know European skiing, one of the highlights is
Mhm.
getting stop at the chateaus and the
Mhm.
lunch places on the ski hill.
Mhm.
That 2 out of the 4 days we skied, and my kids loved it. Like,
Yeah.
they were so excited to be able to, like,
Yeah.
eat food and, feel local, authentic French food,
Yeah.
and I just remember thinking, "We have 5 kids here, and they've all been extensively traveled. None of them are like, 'Ew, I don't wanna eat that.'"
I know, it's so cool to just get them out of their comfort zone and
Yeah,
to see I feel like we put our own insecurities and fears on the kids, and when you
yeah,
travel, like, you're forced to, like, just let them explore and, like, do their own thing and learn on their own, and so it helps you as a parent to, like, let
yeah,
go and trust as
yeah,
well as giving them the opportunity to spread out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey. So there's the first phase of the business is really just getting it going. And it sounds like once you establish your independence and
Mhm.
you've had your own brand, you got to do a lot of that at the beginning stages post COVID, as people were just coming out. So you didn't probably have as much demand for travel. So you actually had some time to focus on the brand. Was that an enjoyable process for you? And
Yeah.
I love the name. I mean, obviously
Thanks.
to your last name, but it's
Mhm.
like it's a great name. So did that take a while?
I started a blog in like 2017, 2018, and I still remember like sitting at my desk at work and I would just jot down names, just trying to think of I'm like, it has to be something with my last name, but I didn't want it to just be like Sarah Key Travel because I was like, maybe one day I'll sell it or pass it down to kids or whatever. And one day I came up with the keys to travel and I was just like, yep, that's it. And then I was like,
Oh,
thank you,
yeah.
husband, for your last name because that's really nice. But yeah, in 20 like, right after I joined GTN, I, rebranded and kept the name, but did, upgrade with the colors and website and all of that
Right.
to be more luxury focused. And
Yeah.
that was I really enjoyed it, and it just felt like a better fit, and it definitely helped me attract more of the right clients that I wanted.
Yeah. What have you learned about selling luxury travel that you didn't know before that could help someone if they're thinking about getting into it?
Luxury means something different to everyone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, there is kind of like a minimum price point, I'd say, and
Right.
there's an unlimited maximum price point.
Right.
But it's really getting down to why the client wants to travel. Like, why do you want to go to the Galapagos? Why do you want to go to Australia?
Yeah.
And so that's honestly been the most fun too, is really getting to the like down deep and like really why do you want to go to Italy with your family? Is it, you know, one of my clients want to go to, I can't remember the name. It's in Canada, and it's the Green Gables. Um,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah. It's where, like, the book was written or based off of, and she came to me, wanting to go to this place, and I didn't know much of it, and she eventually just, like, really got down deep. She's like, "Oh, it's because I love the book so much." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, like, finding really the deep-seated
Yeah.
reason behind why people want to travel so that you can do those special little things, gifts not gifts, but, like, little pieces throughout the trip
Yeah.
to make it extra luxury for the
Also
client.
not bookable online. Like, it's not something they
Exactly.
find or could
Mm,
book on their own. You
right,
bring them ideas and tours
mm,
or museums or things that they would never have considered with,
right,
they weren't using a travel advisor.
right, yeah, like, okay, they want a food tour, but or they want a cooking class, but, like, what do they really like,
Yeah.
what kind of food do they really love and that they're really excited for instead of just doing a generic one? And, yeah, like, customizing just every piece of the trip for them, and the only way you can do that is really to get to know the client and really to dig deep and find out the why behind each trip, and
Yeah.
that's figuring out what luxury is to them.
And you found that, like, with in terms of client attraction and growing your book of business, have you found that the best growth comes from either your repeat clients or referrals of your
Mhm.
repeat clients? And it seems like every time I do a podcast episode with an advisor and they've really done the work on the brand, it pays off dividends for years and years to come because,
Mhm.
well, you also have to be good at the booking side too,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Yeah.
sales
Yeah. Yeah.
side.
I feel like so when I was out in Colorado, I really did a lot of networking, and it took me a long time to find the right networking group. But
Okay.
when I did, and I also, like, rebranded and everything just kind of aligned, that's when I started finding and getting my ideal clients and my repeat clients, and now I mean, even through this, like, last pregnancy was a lot easier because it was just most of my repeat clients were, like, coming back
Yeah.
to me and just like, "Oh, we'll
Yeah.
wait till here,"
Yeah.
and now I know exactly how they travel, I know exactly what they're looking for, like, I have one family, a family of 5, they travel twice a year. She's like, "We wanna go to Maui this summer," and I know exactly what to book for her, I know exactly what
Yeah.
they want, I know exactly, like, the car and everything, so it just gets easier
Yeah.
with the repeat clients because you get to know them so well too.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really I love that.
Mm,
It's I don't know why, but I'm having a vision of, like, a teacher, and when you start teaching, you have to learn the
mhm,
lessons before you actually teach them. So, like, that
mhm.
first year of teaching is so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 5 years into it, and you've just
Mhm,
got it down to a science.
mhm.
But let's go back to you said you spent a lot of time networking and, a lot of the networking groups that you chose weren't the do you mind unpacking that a little bit? Like
Yeah,
what was not a good networking group
yeah,
and what ended up being a good networking group?
yeah. It's interesting because now that I'm back in Wisconsin, I'm kinda, like, starting the networking over, like, here, and so I'm kind of
Yeah.
going back to square one. But when I first was even before I had my travel business and I was just trying to figure out what I wanna do, I joined a lot of different, like, women-focused entrepreneurial
Yeah.
groups, which was great because I didn't know what I didn't know, and it was
Yeah.
just really nice to have that community. And then once I had the established business, for me, I found that I joined a BNI group. So
Yeah.
it's every single week. If you don't show up, you gotta find a sub, you have to do one-to-ones, you have to do referrals within the group. It's very expensive, time committal. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of bad ones.
Right.
And
Right.
luckily, I found a really good group
Absolutely.
and that I really connected with, and I trusted the people, and they trusted me, and it was in a great area with my ideal clients. So that worked for me. I felt that groups that you go here and there, like, "Oh, I went once to a luncheon,"
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just there's not commitment from people, and you only see people once, and so they're not gonna know, like, and trust you to do referrals with. So and that's good at the beginning just to see which group you connect with, but then you gotta commit to it and go to the events and get involved, and with BNI, I was even on, like I had, volunteer roles and,
Yeah.
different roles that you help with so you get known more. So now I'm kind of trying to find the right groups again here. This stage in life, I don't think like a BNI is going to work for me just with the time commitment. I don't really, it's hard to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
found connected with a woman here and now she started like a Northeast Wisconsin hiking group that meets once a
Oh,
month. And that's more my style right now. And it's a
yeah.
lot less rigid and it's more of connecting on a mom to mom level, but also business to business level. So that's kind of working for me too. So it's finding what works for you. I don't know if it was no, it was a different podcast I listened to recently about networking and she was like you have to go in like very strategically, and asking for another networking partner. So for me right now, a financial planner is
Yes.
really networking partner because people are planning their life. So
Yeah.
plan your travel. So going into meetings, asking for a financial advisor or a networking partner, and then also your ideal client and be very specific. Like the example they used was they work with families that have a senior graduating high school that year
Oh,
because
wow.
life has been so busy. So now you want to plan a graduation trip, very
Yep.
specific.
Yep.
And so I think it's another tip for networking is just being very specific. You're not
Specific.
alienating
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
from maybe a couple's trip or a honeymoon, but like you got to be remembered. And
Yeah.
being very specific will help you get remembered.
That's great advice. So GTN members have access to Accelerate calls, and one a month is called the Game Changers call,
I like
where
those.
we have one of our advisors talk about something that was a game changer in their business. And I'm pretty positive very recently, Megan, your son,
Mhm.
did a game changers call on networking using the Scout Guide. She's had tremendous success advertising in the Scout Guide, which is the neighborhood publication. It's a high-end or it's a publication that they put in high-end neighborhoods.
Mhm.
And they're a franchise. The Scout Guide themselves is a franchise.
Mhm.
But what Megan found like success with is not just advertising in them, but networking with the other advertisers in
Mhm.
the Scout Guide.
Yeah, I remember that one now. I listened to that one, and I do
Yeah.
advertise in Stroll magazine. So
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing as a Scout magazine,
Yeah.
in a local guide
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
But I
interesting.
when she was saying that they had more, like, networking opportunities or she could write, like, an article in it, I think, on travel,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, tying those 2 together would be a lot better because people are gaining something from you and learning more about you instead of just seeing an advertisement."
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
you gotta kinda provide value before people are really gonna trust
Yep.
to work with you on such a big ticket item.
Hi, Travel Business Unpacked listeners. The travel industry has a problem that few people are talking about. There's a massive business education gap, and it's why so many advisors fall into the accidental hobbyist trap. At Gifted Travel Network, offering meaningful business education and guidance has been at the heart of what we do since day one. Travel Business University is how we're solving for it. And whether you're brand new to the industry, in building and growth mode, or already running a 7-figure business, TBU has a program and a community designed for exactly where you are. Visit giftedtravelnetwork.com or check out the link in the description to learn more and apply.
So changing directions, I was looking at your website and I love that on your about page, you put a little bit about you and that you put your Enneagram number, which is 7.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm 7 too.
Yay!
We actually did the Enneagram like analysis or whatever for our entire team, team
Oh,
of
cool.
28, 30 people.
Yeah.
And I am the only 7.
What?
So,
In all of GTN? Are you kidding?
no, GTN, I'm the only
That's
7, so it's very
surprising.
good to meet another 7.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's kinda surprising. I feel like in the travel industry, there are probably a lot of 7s.
I would think so too. Well, what is 7 to you? Tell
Um,
everyone what a 7 is in
we're
Enneagram.
Yeah, we're very excitable. So, we're based a lot of, like, "Ooh, shiny object syndrome."
Yeah,
We just love excitement and energy. We're always looking for the fun activity to do.
fun. Yeah,
Mhm.
ideas. Yeah, but yeah, fun is really important to us.
Mhm. Yes.
Like, yes, that is, yeah. But it was interesting that I guess I think we're a great Enneagram, but I think we're great in small doses. So maybe it's a good thing that
Yeah, I think we could be a bit.
we don't want too many of us.
Yeah, I feel like we need those. I don't know which one are the ones that, like, execute all of our ideas.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And the twos are the ones that are like soldiers, absolute
Yeah.
soldiers. I think they're very people service oriented.
Yeah. Mhm.
Maybe I have an issue with people pleasing. That's like their greatest downfall is that they're people pleasers to a
There's
fault and it like,
Yeah.
they're burnt out by that. But I mean, I spent years before I decided to take a leap of faith and started business as a travel advisor doing stuff like that because I was so fascinated with what is my life purpose? What is my life? What am I here for?
Yeah.
And I definitely knew the job that I was in was not my life purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mention that, that's really interesting. I feel like there's, like, breadcrumbs from when we're little to where we're supposed to
Yeah.
go, and I remember when I was in grade school, it was a private grade school, and then to go to the private high school, they had, like, this "what you're gonna be when you grow up" test. I don't know, it was really
Okay.
weird,
Uh-huh.
and all of my results were, like a ship captain or a
Wow.
taxi driver or, like, anything to like a pilot, like, anything to do with moving vehicles and traveling, and
Wow.
I was, like, offended by it. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be, like, a bus driver or something." But, like, now looking back, it really makes sense. Like, I wanted to be on the move, traveling, like getting out and seeing things. And
And
so
how appropriate that your business name is The Keys to
yeah,
Travel.
I know. Man, full circle.
Oh, full circle. I love
Yeah.
it. What is something that you learned along the way as a travel entrepreneur that you wish you had known sooner, or it would have saved you a lot of time if you had known this sooner?
I think maybe it's a life lesson. Like, it always works out.
Oh,
Like, I
yeah.
feel like, especially in our industry, there's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. Like, it's very, business fluctuates throughout the years.
Yeah.
And it can be really stressful. You can have a really busy month and then you can have no inquiries the next month and you're just, you can panic. And
Yeah.
just trusting the process and trusting that it has always worked out and it will always work out
Yeah.
is a big
Yeah.
lesson.
I think that's a really important one. I remember the year that or my business partner and I, we decided to establish financial projections. We're like, we're
Mhm.
big girl panties on, and
Yeah.
we're gonna sit down and do projections for next year.
Mhm.
And we went about it kind of in a crazy way. We didn't know what we were doing, so we were just kind of figuring it out.
Mhm.
But we basically were like, well, we want to make this much money
Mhm.
each. We want to pay each other this much each. And it costs this much to run the business. So that means we have to generate that plus
X.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We mapped it out. Like, okay, how are we going to get to that revenue? Like, we're going to do this many of this many of that. At the end of that year, not only did we meet those financial projections, we actually exceeded them, but how we got there was so different. And
Mhm.
so I love what you're saying, because it is important to, have projections and to be tracking them, but hold on loosely, right?
Yeah. I
Yes.
feel like I f I feel like you did a podcast or something recent, like, at the end of the year, or I listened to something
Yeah.
about you talking about this, and
Yeah.
you are always in my ear because every year I have these big goals and I never reach them, because
Yeah.
I'm like a 7, so I'm like way up here with my goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this year I kinda did that. I was like, "I want to make X. This is what I gotta
Yeah.
do," and I worked backwards and I was like, "Wow, how am I gonna do that?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, "You know what? Just let go, just trust." And the first 2 months this year, I surpassed my sales numbers from last year.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course, last year I was pregnant, had a baby, moved states,
Yeah.
everything, so it was a little different, but, like, still, like, I would never have thought that that would have been possible
Yeah.
especially if I would have just been focused on, like, "How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it?"
It's so important. You said the right word. Just let go and trust,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
surrender is so powerful, but
Mhm.
for some reason, we are not good at surrendering
Yeah. It's so hard.
or releasing our attachment to the outcome.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's it is. It's especially with yourself.
Mhm.
All right, so we're getting to the very end of the podcast. So I love ending with the question of, can you tell us about uh, a time where you got to travel because of your profession and you had a pinch me moment? Oh my God, I can't believe I got to do this as a career.
Mhm. I mean, there's so many moments in our industry that I feel like every time I get to go on a trip is a pinch me moment just with the places we get to go and the places we get to stay. But I can't remember if I said this last time, so I'll say it again. But when I was in college, I had an internship at like a web development company, and they were redeveloping the Four Seasons website. And my job was quality control. So I had to, click through all, make sure everything's working. And I found the Four Seasons Bora Bora page. And I was like, whoa, is this a real place? This is like the
Oh,
ultimate bucket list hotel for me. And in
yeah.
2024, I got on a fam to go to French Polynesia and I stay at the Four Seasons Bora Bora. And I was like, I've made it. Like, I've made it, except I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not here with my husband. And so we
Right.
just
Right.
we just booked last week our 10th anniversary in October to the Four Seasons Bora Bora, and that's gonna be the ultimate, like, pinch me moment.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Are you leaving the kids home?
Yes. Yes, our parents are, like, splitting some time watching both the boys. So lucky, but it's gonna be amazing because 'cause we've been trying to do that
Oh
trip
my god, I
since
love it.
2020, and then 2020 happened, and then kids happened, and now we're finally doing it.
Well, how fortuitous that you've already been there, so now you know, like, what room type you want it to stay in and
Exactly.
maybe
I
which
know, I was
room in
like
the resort you
yeah,
want it to be.
yeah.
So
I was like, "We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna"
All right. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
open and sharing about your experience
Yeah,
and
thank
being
you.
on the podcast. And to everybody listening, we will see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.